This is Zodiac Television with me, Philip Kaitanda Costa, and it's time for the news. Growing public anger following the withholding of confirmation of Martha Chizuma as ACB Director General. Faith leaders want Ministry of Health to develop guidelines for COVID-19 vaccine messaging among their followers. Judge in Tom Pinganjiro's attempted bribery case to rule Wednesday on a defense application to recuse herself from the case. And in sports, National Youth Football Association plans to kick off First Capital Bank Under-20 League on May 29. Now the news in detail. There is growing public anger following the withholding of confirmation by the Public Appointments Committee of Parliament of Martha Chizuma as Director General of SCP. Chairperson of the Human Rights Defenders Coalition, Gift Trapens, says his organization will be mobilizing people to the streets next Tuesday. Trapens says other than the march on Parliament, his organization is also looking at the viability of court action on the same matter. The Women Manifesto is equally baffled at the rejection. We spoke to Trapens earlier.
It's a sad day for us. We are disappointed that members of Parliament can sit so low to reject someone who is more qualified. Malawians had and has the trust of Madam Chizuma because she has shown how she can work, even at the Ombudsman office. So we don't see any justification in terms of rejecting her name to be the upcoming Anti-Corruption Bureau Director. As the HRDC would like to announce the demonstrations on 18th, which is Tuesday next week. We are going to march to Parliament to show our disappointment to the members of Parliament who have rejected Martha Chizuma. But also, as HRDC, we are also exploring litigation. We are exploring this case. We want to go to court. We have already instructed our lawyers to look at this case. But also, our demand to Parliament is that this name should be retabled so that they should confirm her. They should know that Madam Martha Chizuma is a people's person.
While some members of the Public Appointment Committee, legislators on the government side, suspect foul play and blame those from the opposition for this. 9 MPs from government side addressed media soon after the exercise. They want the exercise done again after 9 members gave Chizuma 1 out of 25 and 9 others gave her 25 out of 25. Andrew Viano has filed this report.
After about 2 hours of interviewing Ombudsman Martha Chizuma to note if she is capable of holding position as Anti-Corruption Bureau Director General, it transpired that she has failed the test. The 18-member committee has decided that Chizuma is not fit for the post. This prompted a recount of votes, which in the end turned out that Chizuma could not get the required average grade to take up the top job at ACB. The decision did not amuse members of the government bloc in the committee, who told us that they suspect foul play. One of them, Peter Dimba, says the whole process was not fair.
As members of government in the committee, we demanded an audit so that we verify each and every score sheet. And then when we did, sending our monitors, it was found out that the 9 members of the committee scored 1 on every question.
But the committee's chairperson, Joyce Titsulo, says the process was fair and that the decision made is a consensus of 4 members from government and opposition.
As far as the committee is concerned, it has done its decision, and this decision has not been done by one person. For your information, today 18 members were present out of the 20 members because 1 member is out of the country and 1 is sick. And the 18 members that were there each did a rating, and then an average score was done. There was no voting per se, but it was an average score which was made, which means the decision that has been made today by the committee is entirely for the entire committee and not an individual.
Soon after the interview, Chizuma told us if she took up the job, she would make Malawians feel uncomfortable with corruption.
I want to make this country feel uncomfortable with corruption. As it is, it's like it's now part of our lives, but it shouldn't be. So I would really want to see to it that we Malawians start feeling uncomfortable about corruption. And there are so many things that we can do in that regard.
PAC is expected to write to President Lazarus Chakwera about the outcome of the process before the end of this week. Chizuma, while serving as ombudsman, conducted investigations into abuse of public offices.
Religious leaders have asked Minister of Health to develop guidelines for COVID-19 vaccine messaging among their followers. Speaking on behalf of the faith leaders, Archbishop Thomas Msusa of Blantyre Archdiocese says this will help fight misinformation on the vaccination campaign. Deputy Director of Preventive Health Services in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Mike Chisema, assured the faith leaders of government's commitment to increase uptake of the vaccine. Chimwemwe Padata has more.
The Public Affairs Committee has just finalized its interface meeting with faith leaders that was taking place at Bingu International Conference Center in Lilongwe. A number of issues transpired during this briefing seminar. Among these was on the COVID-19 vaccine, as now there is a lot of worry among health rights activists, including the Ministry of Health, on the low uptake of the vaccine. The faith leaders, among other things, has asked the Ministry of Health to put up guidelines that could assist in the messaging of COVID-19 vaccine as a way of encouraging their faiths to take up the vaccine. In response to these concerns, Deputy Director for Immunization in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Mike Chisema, assured the faith leaders that the ministry is doing all it can to ensure that a lot of Malawians take the vaccine.
Vaccine hesitancy is a huge issue globally. Malawi so far, I would say we are nearing 2.5% people that have already been vaccinated. But you find that it's not far much different from those even that started 6 months before us. Others are just around 10%. So vaccine hesitancy is a real issue, not just for Malawi, but it's a global issue. There are so many things that have come around with this vaccine, but we need to continue mobilizing the people, informing them and giving them the right information so that they can make decisions.
Currently, we understand that 360,000 Malawians, representing 2% of the population, are the ones that have received the jab. And this is coming in the face of statistics indicating that 11 million people are those to be vaccinated by the end of this year. And one of the faith leaders, Archbishop Thomas Msusa of Blantyre Archdiocese, represented the faith leaders in making this calls to government.
We want, as faith leaders, to work together with the government, with the Ministry of Health, so that as we are promoting the vaccine, as we are working with the common people outside there, the same message should come also from the Ministry of Health, so that when we are preaching about the vaccine, when we are talking about the vaccine, we should not be seen to be really diverting our messages contrary to what the Minister of Health is giving.
From Bingu International Conference Center in Lilongwe, this is Chimwemwe Padata.
The office of the Speaker of Parliament is still mum on who will be the next Chief Whip for the Democratic Progressive Party in Parliament. This comes as the Supreme Court nullified the election of Simon Vuakaunda, who was Chief Whip. Parliament is scheduled to meet Wednesday, and its spokesperson Ian Mwenye has told us a decision could be made then. Judge Dorothy De Gabriel has reserved her ruling to Wednesday on an application by business magnate Tom Mpinganjira on an application to recuse herself from the attempted bribery case. State Prosecutor, who is Secretary for Justice, Reinik Matemba, has objected to the application, saying it is based on hearsay and should not be entertained. Maritza Piri reports from Blantyre.
Tuesday was the day business magnate Dr. Thompson Mpinganjira was supposed to tell the court on whether he was going to enter into defense or exercise his right to remain silent in a case in which he is accused of attempting to bribe the 5 judges that presided over the presidential election case. This is because he was found with a case to answer last month. But instead, lead lawyer for Dr. Mpinganjira, Patrice Nkhani, informed Judge Dorothy de Gabriel that they had filed an application on behalf of their client asking for the recusal of the judge on allegations of impropriety. He alleged that they have come across evidence that suggested that Judge de Gabriel and High Court Judge President Sylvester Kalembera had asked for money in exchange for what he called a favorable conclusion to the case. Nkhani stressed that although the allegations could not be proven at this point, they were enough to trigger a recusal from the judge in the interest of justice. Lawyers from the state, led by Solicitor General Renek Matemba, objected this, arguing that the allegations were pet and frivolous and called on the judge not to recuse herself. Judge de Gabriel said she's going to make a ruling on the matter Wednesday morning at 10. For Zodiac, this is Madalito Piri reporting.
President Lazarus Chakwera has Tuesday presided over the 14th congregation of the University of Livingstonia, which took place in Mzuzu. Chakwera urged the graduating students to use their knowledge and expertise to shape a better Malawi. Tawera Kumwenda has more.
According to President Lazarus Chakwera, who was speaking at the 14th congregation of the University of Livingstonia, Malawi needs people that will not give up when the going gets tough in the society. Chakwera says the mental and physical trials the students experience during their university years is enough to drill them to be strong enough to achieve greater things even in the outside world. He says he is expecting that the just graduated students will help build a new Malawi that is corrupt-free but full of development. Echoing the sentiments, Vice-Chancellor for the university, Reverend Dr. Timothy Nyasulu, says the students have been through hardships which were made even worse amidst the COVID-19. He cited studying virtually was made difficult as most students do not have the right gadgets and exorbitant data prices per the law. One of the graduating students, Padesha Tindwa, says she is ready to demonstrate professionalism.
I was studying very hard, doing group discussions, and there was good teamwork with my fellow students. And again, when I had problems, I was able to go to the teachers to ask for guidance.
521 students have graduated from the 3 campuses of the university, namely Ikwendeni Campus, Robert Laws, and Ikwendeni College of Health Sciences. For Zodiac in Mzuzu, I'm Tawera Kumwenda.
You're watching the news on Zodiac. We'll be back after this short break. Stick around.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
This marriage is a punishment for you, and you are going to be suffering for the rest of your life.
I thought you'd married some supermodel. Who?
Coma narero, narero, narero. Narero, alipitireni GoTV mosavuta. Just dial *247# to pay your GoTV or DSTV subscription. Standard Bank. It can be.
Kungwonjezera mayunits ATNM kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunits ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
Welcome back. The headlines as we continue. Growing public anger following the withholding of confirmation of Martha Chizuma as SCP Director General. Faith leaders want Ministry of Health to develop guidelines for COVID-19 vaccine messaging among their followers. Judge Tom Mpinganjiro's attempted bribery case to rule Wednesday on a defense application to recuse herself from the case. And in sports, National Youth Football Association plans to kick off First Capital Bank Under-20 League on May 29. As we move on to the news, the Competition and Fair Trading Commission, CFTC, has disclosed that it is investigating 6 cooking oil refining companies for alleged overpricing of the product and colluding to raise the prices. SFTC Executive Director James Kapali has acknowledged this, but said he cannot discuss contents of the investigations further. Oil refining companies in the country insist the price hike of the cooking oil is compounded by the 16.5% value-added tax introduced on the product by government. Alex Panda reports from Blantyre.
The perceived exorbitant, if found on the wrong, the oil producers will be penalized, but CFTC CEO Kapale feels the fines are not punitive enough. CFTC has since engaged the Ministry of Justice to review the fines to be more punitive. For Zodiak in Blantyre, this is Alex Banda.
A month after Malawi Police Service announced it will carry out a fresh probe into the 2019 rape of women at Msundwe, that the second investigation is yet to commence. National Police spokesperson James Kadazera has confirmed but says police are ready for the joint investigation as a team of investigators has already been assembled for the task. President of Women Lawyers Association Immaculate Maluza expressed hope that the law enforcers will institute the fresh inquiry as soon as possible. We have a report by Blessings Kangombe and read by Grace Kombe.
In March this year, police and Msundwe rape survivors agreed to carry out fresh investigations into 2019 rape saga after a previous probe failed to uncover perpetrators. Among others, it was agreed that police officers that were involved in the first investigations would not be part of the fresh inquiry. A month down the line, National Police spokesperson James Kadazera has confirmed that the investigations are yet to commence, but says a team of investigators has already been assembled.
We are planning for a fresh investigation, and this will be joint. There will be Malawi Police Service, Human Rights Commission, as well as the Women Lawyers Association. So as far as the police is concerned, we are set with a strong team of investigators, and anytime from now, these joint investigations will commence. So when we are officially on the ground, we'll inform Malawians accordingly.
A representative of the Women Lawyers Association, through its president Immaculate Maluza, is confident that the fresh investigations will commence soon as they are in contact with police on the same.
We have been discussing with the police and they are on their way into planning for a second investigation. We as women lawyers are confident that this investigation is going to take place soon and we'll have results soon as well. I think we would want them to take their time so that the investigations are thorough, so we don't want to put a time limit on it.
In 2019, police officers were deployed to Nsondwe, Bwadalika and Mpingu to quell political tension there, allegedly raped 13 women and defiled 14 girls after a senior police officer was killed in a riot by angry people there.
We now go to sports news. National Youth Football Association has announced that it will kick off its activities in the First Capital Bank Under-20 League on 29 May in 14 districts. This is, however, awaiting clearance from the Football Association of Malawi. NYF's General Secretary, James Sawirengera, told us registration of players will begin on Sunday. Bright Kanyama has filed a report.
Last month, the Football Association of Malawi announced that it was working towards total football restart, which commenced with the Elite League followed by the regional leagues, and now the Youth League will follow suit following an announcement made by National Youth Football Association that it will kick off the First Capital Under-20 League in 14 districts on 29 May. NYFA General Secretary James Sawirengera told us that they have since been given green light by the official sponsor First Capital Bank for the league to start, and registration of players will start next week. Sawirengera added that the kickoff, though, will depend on clearance from FAM's COVID-19 task force. However, he says NYFA has put in place protocols which will be followed at match venues to ensure there is strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols.
We are indeed very optimistic that our plans are on course to kick off, particularly the First Capital Under-20 League this month. According to how we've set up the ground, it will indeed come to pass by come to 9 May, we will definitely hit the ground where games will actually kick off.
NYFA has since maintained the format of the league as it will start from the district level through to regional and national phase. First Capital Bank sponsors the league to the tune of 35 million kwacha. Meanwhile, NYFA says it is in process of introducing other leagues starting from under-20 from next year. For Zodiac, this is Bright Kanyama.
That's about what we had time for in this news edition. Before we go, another look at the headlines. Growing public anger following the withholding of confirmation of Martha Chizuma as SCP Director General. Religious leaders want Ministry of Health to develop guidelines for COVID-19 vaccine messaging among their followers. Judge in Tom Mpinganjira's attempted bribery case to rule Wednesday on a defense application to recuse herself from the case. And in sports, National Youth Football Association plans to kick off First Capital Bank Under-20 League on May 29. Visit our website zodiacmalawi.com for more news. Remember, there is a second phase of the COVID-19 vaccination coming in June. Those of you that got the first dose, remember to get the second and last jab. My name is Philip Caetano da Costa. Thanks for watching.
What do you do when your rights as a consumer are violated?
Call CFTC.
Who do you tell when there are anti-competitive business practices?
You tell CFTC.
What do you do when you notice deceptive business conduct or excessive pricing?
Oh, that's easy. Call CFTC.